Hey everyone, it's Wingspan TT, and today I'd like to talk about Assassin's Creed Unity. As you know, since Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, I've been a big fan, a big proponent, a big strategist, a big organizer for all things related to Assassin's Creed multiplayer, including, the adversarial multiplayer, Wanted, Deathmatch, Manhunt, Assassinate, all that kind of stuff ever since the beginning. Even before Assassin's Creed Brotherhood actually came out, if you went back on my website at toptiertactics.com, you'd see I actually had written up this huge article about how Assassin's Creed multiplayer needed to happen and how the mechanics of social stealth needed to be incorporated into a multiplayer, how we have all these elements similar to like playing a spy in Team Fortress 2, and Assassin's Creed was just ripe for this kind of thing. And once the rumors of Assassin's Creed multiplayer started to come about, I was just absolutely hyped for it. And of course today I have the sad news that there will be no adversarial multiplayer in Assassin's Creed Unity. Now, I don't know about Comet, I don't know anything about that, if there still is some other Assassin's Creed game in the works, or what systems it's for, or anything like that. All I know is that it is completely official, following E3, that this has just been removed from the series. And of course, I understand the reasons why, I understand, and we'll get to that in a second. But of course, this brings me great sadness, because if you've been following my channel for any period of time, or even if you're completely new, that you know that I just love the unique aspect of the game, the hunter be hunted, the timing, the depth of it, the incredible anxiety that it fills you with playing this game. And I do have some footage here from a recent match I played. I'm a little bit rusty, it's been a while. And of course I'm a little under-leveled on PC, but I just wanted to jump in and get some footage to have something to talk against. Now, if you actually follow any of the reasoning here, and Loomer979 actually uploaded a video recently that illuminated this a little bit. But basically they were saying that they felt that, starting with Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, they built this engine for multiplayer that worked really well. It was kind of built on the same engine as Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. But then as the games progressed, they kept working on the same engine for multiplayer, but they had, developed new engines and new mechanics and new control schemes and UI schemes and everything for the single player that hadn't kept pace between single player and multiplayer. So multiplayer was kind of evolving on its own track, where they had their own compass, their own kind of mapping system, their own UI system, their own control schemes even, that were still reminiscent of how things worked in like Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. Not exactly the same, but an evolution from there. And then all the other Assassin's Creed games going into Brotherhood, Revelations 3 and 4, and then, I don't know, Liberation and that stuff, but those control schemes, those graphics, those engines, like for instance the fact that in Assassin's Creed 3 you could run into buildings, you could climb trees and free climb them and stuff, and that carrying over to 4, but that was never brought into multiplayer. And I think Ubisoft is having a problem where, now they need two completely separate dev teams working on two completely different engines, working with completely different rules, and not only that, but people who are new to the multiplayer, someone who just jumped in and just got Assassin's Creed 4 and they beat the whole single player campaign, now they're like, now I'm going to play multiplayer, I'm ready. And they'll find that all of their skills are completely useless, like not even just their personal skills of the game, because a lot of it doesn't, transfer over, but also their how they're used to the controls working, how they're used to the UI working and things like that. So I see there's a big problem there. And basically what the creative director had said was, if they bring back the adversarial multiplayer in the future, they kind of want to work on the same engine as the current single player, and they kind of want those things to play nicer together, both from the development point of view to not waste time and resources, and also from the player point of view, so that someone who's jumping into multiplayer will better be able to, have their footing and their killing and all that stuff. So I completely understand those reasons. Now, understanding that aside, I guess for me, this is going to be kind of like, I don't want to say dark days, but typically for me, I've been in this gaming cycle where, when summer comes, hold on, let me just start. I want to start in a different month, because I want it to be more accurate to what actually happened. When fall comes around, I'd always be ready for the next Assassin's Creed. Like, yes, Assassin's Creed's coming. It's time to get in multiplayer. Let's get some tournaments going. Let's get some music videos going. Let's just get some fun footage going. Let's get some strategy guides written up on toptiertactics.com. For me, that's something I greatly look forward to. And now I would kind of play that into the winter. And then from the winter into the spring, I kind of like branch out, play new games. Last year I was playing Dark Souls. This year I was playing EVE Online. I'm trying to get out there and see what else is out there in the gamescape. By the time the summer came along, I'd be getting into some indie games, stuff like, not indie per se, but smaller games like Magic the Gathering, Duels of the Planeswalkers, which has always been my favorite summer game. And the new iteration, of course, coming out this year, of course, they've kind of gutted what I liked about that game too. And I won't get into it too much here because this video is about Assassin's Creed, but you know, the thing that I always loved about the Magic the Gathering Duels of the Planeswalker series for Xbox Live and PC and all that stuff was that you had pre-constructed decks. Everyone was on a level playing field. You kind of jumped in. You could play Magic for 10 or 20 minutes at a time and then get out, which is something you can't really do in real life Magic. Now, you have to draft the cards, kind of. You have to earn the cards along this big campaign. It's going to be DLC. It's just not really going to be the same kind of experience. So now with Unity being pretty much single player and co-op only, while I like co-op, while I like what that offers, and it is something new, I guess we'll have to see how it plays out. I always find co-op to be a double-edged sword because on one hand, you can have your friend that's helping you out. You're going to beat the missions faster. You're going to have these memorable experiences. On the other hand, you have, you know, random drop-ins, or maybe your friend's just not very good at video games. Like maybe you're trying to bond with your dad. Like it's Father's Day, at least when I'm recording this video, and people are like, "Hey, son, you want to play that video game all the kids are talking about? Killer's Code or something?" Like, "Dad, it's Assassin's Creed." "Okay, Assassin's Code, let's play." And your dad's bumbling around and failing all the missions, and you kind of like screw up everything. You miss out on achievements. It's really sad. So co-op I could give or take. The French Revolution I could give or take. We just had the American Revolution, Assassin's Creed 3. So I don't know how much Revolution I could take at once. I do kind of miss the Nintendo Revolution since that never happened. But I am now free of an obligation because I promised that when Assassin's Creed Unity comes out, I would be doing my multiplayer commentaries in French. And now that there will be no multiplayer, I don't have to fumble through my rusty French and make a complete ass out of myself by conjugating verbs incorrectly, failing to use the subjunctive, and just, you know, using, I don't know, all kinds of terrible language here and there. Terrible both in the slangy way, and I have some bad habits. Anyway, overall, I'm excited for Assassin's Creed Unity. I think it looks like they're putting a lot of effort into it. I know some of the Assassin's Creed games in the past has been very hit or miss. We've seen some that have just absolutely blown out of the park. I still consider Assassin's Creed 2 to be one of the top video games I've ever played as far as a single-player experience. Is it the most balanced game? Is it the best-paced game? No, but it was just so immersive. I just felt in Ezio's world. It just felt like this masterpiece of a story. I love the modern day and the old day and the weird animus glitches and all that stuff. You know, 3 wasn't really a fan of. I didn't even make it through single player. 4, I really loved all the naval combat. I made it through single player, like the story, but a lot of the combat got repetitive and just having the dual swords, whatever. So I want to see where Unity lands, but now without the adversarial multiplayer, I can't say that I'm going to be like, day one purchase, I'm buying this. Pre-order, I'm buying it. I'm really going to see how it plays out, how the reviews come out. I'm going to see how a couple of videos go, and then, you know, maybe I'm going to pick it up when it's on Steam sale for 20% off or something like that. Anyway, I'm really interested to hear what the rest of the Assassin's Creed multiplayer community thinks. I had talked to Ubisoft, their team, on the Assassin's Creed Twitter over the last weekend. I talked to a lot of you over Twitter about it, but everyone who's watching this video, I want to know what your opinion is. You know, why do you think Assassin's Creed multiplayer is taken out? What do you think? Do you think it will be coming back? And if so, what changes do you think will happen? What changes do you want to happen? And how do you see potentially the integration of a new engine into Assassin's Creed multiplayer affecting the multiplayer? Because obviously, if you could do things like go into buildings or take, you know, NPCs hostage or climb trees freely, if you could do any of that stuff like we've seen in single player, how will it affect the multiplayer dynamics, or what potential new game modes could exist if these kind of mechanics are brought into the adversarial multiplayer? Well, everyone, I'm Wingspan TT from TopTierTactics.com. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed this footage. Honestly, I don't even know what I'm going to put in here. I'm just going to take some match that I think is pretty fun and just throw it in and have something to talk over. Please don't judge me too harshly for it. I want to hear your comments. I want to know what you think, and I want you to come by for the next video. Until then, cheers.